Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket nines. In this hand, cut off, open raises. And then it folds to mean small blind. This is a 10 NL game. We've got 8 players. Cutoff is playing 61-29 over 31 hands. I think he's going to be fairly loose. We do have a cutoff VPIP of 67%, 2 out of 3. This is his first raise, first in. He hasn't limped. Looks like he tends to limp a little bit more in early position and mid position. And actually probably hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to raise first in or to limp first in these later positions. You can see zeros here. So we just kind of have to come up with a range that we think might represent a cutoff opening raise. And this could be it. About 25%, 24%. That's probably suitable. Now, when it comes to my range, I just called, and I think this is a mistake. I think with small blind, we should be raising or folding. I think very rarely should we be calling here. And this is what kind of the range represents, three betting range. I just called, so we have to think about what hands just call. I don't think aces or kings just call. I don't think ace king just calls. I don't think ace queen offsuit just calls. I don't think king queen off. I think we are looking at like ace queen we could play. Some of these suited we're playing. I don't think we're calling with those. I think we'll probably add some more of these pocket pairs. And that's about it. Which you can see, this is just awful. I think we do better by raising up to 12. If they both fold, they both fold. Who cares? But we're out of position. We are in the the very first position for the entire hand. If we could end it, we could. I would end it. Big blind calls. He's playing 17-13. I have a yellow, so this is a guy we need to be worried about, or at least be careful about. We got 400 hands. When we look at his big blind, it's 21% VPIP, 13% pre-flop raise there. We've got calling 2 bets at 11%. You raise with previous limpers 2 out of 7 times. So when I look at this guy, I think we're looking at some range that looks probably like this. I do think he could raise. Could be a good spot to raise to squeeze. So I think I'm going to take out like the ace queens. I think those could be squeezing hands. The jacks could be squeezing hands. I wouldn't be surprised if he also squeezes with like a couple hands like ace 4, ace 5. So we're down to like about 11%. I think we'll go with this range. So we see a flop of 9-8-2. So we connect. We do have to worry about flush and flush draw. I don't think the ace of hearts is going to fold. Probably don't think the king of hearts is going to fold. So what do? I think we check. I think that's the right play. Check to the pre-flop raiser, and the pre-flop raiser check. So I think we have 100% of our range here. I think big blind has 100% of his range here, and then this villain checks. I think he could be checking some of his nut combos. I don't think he's checking any of the rest. Don't really think he's checking the set, or probably 2 pair. And I'd say the same thing with over pair. Could have these. I think the nut flush bets. I think the second nut, the king bets. Third nut is a possibility, so we can leave that in there along with all of our open-enders. So I think that's just going to cover all of those. So I think that's his checking range, which becomes cheaper becomes weaker once he checks. All right, so 5 of diamonds comes out. We already have everyone checked. I think we should probably go ahead and bet here. Pot's 9. We should probably bet maybe up to 6. Kind of thinking maybe 4.5, half pot. Maybe just 4. 3. We could probably go down to 3. Because you know that if we bet, I think Ace Hearts is going to call. I think the Maid Flush is already going to call. 5 completes some straights. We're looking to try to get some value out of this hand. Decision is: do we bet now? Do we bet on the river? I think we probably prefer to bet now, because if we get called and then the board pairs, it allows us to get an additional street of value from it. Whereas if we're behind, we bet now. That's it. It's just one street. We check the river. If they bet, we probably fold. This is, again, we're out of position. I don't like playing this. We screwed up from the get-go. Now this bet size I think is too large. I understand why we're doing it. We're trying to maximize our fold equity, but I don't think I think we're in rough situations. If we get raised, we've just kind of tossed 6.7 big blinds down the drain. Everyone else is going to have to worry about the heart draw. So if we get raised, we know we're behind. Whereas if we bet 3 or 4 and we get raised, we know the same thing. I don't think betting that smaller amount is going to induce a lot of bluffs. I think we're going to be able to fold if we get called. So what kind of hands do we bet here? I think we bet the flush. I think we bet the flush. We did bet the straight, or I'm sorry, the set. The overpair is probably just going to be a check, unless we have the hearts. Unless we have the hearts. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to change this. We got the queen. And then I think we're betting those. That's kind of for some value. I don't like betting the open-ender. I just don't think this is going to be a big pot. I don't think we should have a big pot here. So I'm just going to revise it and say, yeah, well, we took out the overpairs. And probably the top pairs too. That's probably a little bit better. We're going to be skewed towards strength here. I think that could be our betting range. That could be our betting range. And then villain. Let's see who calls. They both call. So this guy calls. He's probably tricky enough to where he is calling with the nut. Probably nut and second nut. Probably calling with the straight. Probably calling with sets and 2 paired. Not sure about the overpair. I don't think I think he's only calling with those flushes. So he's got decent hands. Our straight's going to still beat a lot of stuff. And then this guy, yeah, I think he can have the flush. He might be waiting till the river to really bet. Straights, the sets, yeah. I don't think top pair, but I think, again, nut flush, the second nut flush draw, and I don't really see any other straights calling. So I think we're kind of in a bad situation at this point. We need the board to pair, which is great. Board does pair. Awesome. We fire out again. And this is, if we bet 3, then we probably size up to half to 2/3 maybe. We're hoping that the ace of hearts wakes up. So we bet. And when we look at it, I think we're betting our quads, our full houses, and probably our nut flush. I don't think I would really bet our kings, because any of the lone aces are probably just going to fold. Maybe we get some value from like pocket kings, pocket queens with when they have the king of hearts or the queen of hearts. But I think we're betting those. I don't even think we're going to be including any bluffs here. I don't want to turn our overpairs into bluffs. I think that's all we're betting. So we bet. This guy folds, so I'm guessing he had one of these, like ace of hearts, king of hearts hands. And then villain 3 raises all in, which seems just absolutely crazy. And this is what I'm looking at. I don't think straight does it. I don't think a straight makes that play. I think a flush or quads. And the flush that I have is that nut flush. So I think this makes, when we look at the hand combo, 90% of the hands that he does this with is going to be the nut flush, 10% is the quads. We're all in. Would nut flush really shove? Yeah, this is 10 NL. I think guys like some players like this will make this play with the nut flush. So I call. I think this is a no-brainer call. I think we call with the nut flush probably. Nut flush is going to be like a bluff catcher for us. But then, yeah, I think we're calling with whatever we have. Obviously, with the nut flush, we have to be concerned about the full house. So we could possibly fold, but I don't know. I just have a hard time. I would have a hard time folding. So I did call, and he shows quads. So the 10% at the time that he has something, right? He's got quads. He catches it. So that explains why he calls. So we have it in his range. It's unfortunate that we rivered the boat, and at the same time that he rivered full house. That is just totally crazy. But I think we made some mistakes in the hand. I think if we raise pre-flop, he'll probably call, but then I don't see him calling again on a flop bet. I think we bet the flop, he calls. On the turn, we check, he bets, we call, and we still probably lose our stack, but at least we're giving ourselves ways to win where he can fold. And definitely we'll get villain 5 to fold probably with our raise pre-flop. I just think it's a lot better because when you look at the range, like what range of hands am I actually representing? At this point, when you get to that point, he's probably thinking, oh, I've got the nut flush, I've got the ace X, the ace queen, the ace jack of hearts. So, and he's happy. Well, he's got quads. I don't think he's putting me on, full boat. So in any case, yeah, I made some mistakes. Made the mistake pre-flop, and then when I did bet on the turn, I think I bet it. I don't think it was sized correctly. I think we needed it to size down about 1/3 pot. We're gonna get the folds that we need with that size, and it's less risky because we do have 2 players, and we probably do have the flushes out there. And then when the board connects, we can then size up again. We can fire again, or even possibly if no heart comes, we could bet again. And I think that's the other component to it. We bet on that 5 of diamonds, and then as long as it's not a heart, we bet again. And now we size up. I think at that point, if it's like an overcard, an ace, king, queen, jack, if we bet again, I think we're going to get called by those. So we're kind of setting ourselves up to get paid by some of those hands. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another hand.